message yourselves. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Okay. For this week kita dah saya dah revert kepada online using UFuture. I hope by now you have the time to look into that. All the slides and all the materials for that topic, that chapter. And I think you all pun macam senyap je, so I guess you all dah dapat schedule posting for quality system, betul tak? You dapat schedule posting. Maksudnya this week you dah dapat slides for halal, for HACCP, betul tak? Dapat tak? Baik, tak dengar juga suara you all ni. Kenapa tak dengar? Saya je yang bercakap ke apa ni? Ain Fatih. Okay, aku nak.
Dah dapat dah slide doktor.
Betul ke? Slide saya on halal, HACCP tu semua dah dapat kan? Dia macam schedule meeting kan? Ke dah dapat dah?
Dah download dah.
Dah download, okay, good. Saya nak pastikan yang you all dah dapat, because that's to prepare you for your HACCP presentation. Kita belum schedule lagi bila have we? Kita dah schedule ke kita punya HACCP presentation? Belum rasanya. Belum for sure lah.
Belum lagi.
Hari ni is the due date for your term paper, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Dan I ada dah platform untuk you submit kan? Okay, good.
Just submit dokumen macam biasa.
Yes, submit dokumen macam biasa. Nanti saya download, saya runkan ke dalam turn in. So hari tu saya kata ya all nanti saya bagi kelas ID kan. Tapi since you all tak ramai pun, you all hanya 10-11 orang dan mungkin saya ada 3 ke 4 group saja. So tak apa, nanti saya retrieve gambar and I runkan dalam turn it in. Sebab ada yang tak boleh. Aziz, you dah boleh dah ke turn it in?
Pun tak boleh juga.
Tak boleh juga.
Sebab kena ada yang apa? Password tu.
Kena ada password. Tapi maksud saya, you dah boleh buka you punya you dah boleh create turn it in you. Hello? Hari tu you yang
memang
ada.
Sebab memang saya ada account tu, cuma contohnya kalau doktor bagi
saya bagi kelas ID, password kan? Right? Jadi masih boleh. Hari tu awak ke yang kata yang nama registration tu yang tak selari dengan nombor matrik tu macam tu ke? Dia punya nama.
Saya ada WhatsApp doktor. Sebab saya still tak boleh nak UFuture, tak boleh nak access lagi.
Okay, UFuture yang you tak boleh. Okay, turn it in lah. So UFuture yang tak boleh. So you tak boleh buka I punya UFuture. Kelas punya UFuture. You tak boleh participate dalam discussion. Oh, anything on UFuture.
Saya tak ada join any mock lah.
Okay. Island ada? Island boleh?
Island boleh. Mock or UFuture tu tak boleh.
Dia automatic Aziz. Dia automatic kalau awak boleh buka Island.
Tapi tak ada.
You mock tu you kena mendownload.
Dia tak ada.
MOOC tu you kena mendaftar kelas saya. MOOC tu. Tetapi you yeah, MOOC
Dia
dia dah kena login. So awak boleh login tak YouFuture melalui YouFuture? Boleh.
tapi saya tak jumpa apa material doktor, so memang tak ada.
Sebab you tak jumpa kelas saya. Okay. Maksudnya you tak daftar lagi ke dalam MOOC sebab MOOC yang dalam YouFuture tu kena daftar. Kalau yang island tu dia automatic bila nama you dia synchronizekan dengan pendaftaran you sebagai pelajar, dia akan automatic nama you tersenarai dalam kelas yang you mendaftar. Tetapi MOOC is by choice option. So you akan you kena subscribe ataupun you kena join kelas. Cuma sekarang ni saya nak you all semua bila login, jangan login melalui island, you login melalui YouFuture. Bila you login melalui YouFuture, automatic you akan nampak dua-dua pun. Island pun you nampak sebelah sini, sebelah kanan tu MOOC. Okay, bila you tekan MOOC, kalau you tak mendaftar secara pilihan kepada kelas saya, then kelas saya tu tak akan appear. Sebab MOOC tu tak ada kena mengena pun dengan pendaftaran you sebagai pelajar. You boleh mendaftar mana-mana kelas dalam sistem UiTM untuk mana-mana kursus. Itu yang dia kata by pilihan. Cuma bila dia nak tengok kita punya participation, dia akan screenshot, dia orang akan tracking dari situ. Siapa ya ada siapa ya bercakap? Awak je yang tak mute mikrofon semasa saya bercakap ya. Tetapi kenapa dia macam dengar bunyi lain bila saya bercakap, dia macam robot tu. Ada robot belakang bercakap. You buka dua line ke? Okay, dah tak dengar. Okay, bila saya bercakap dia dengar bunyi tu. So maksudnya saya assume tu suara saya. Tapi kenapa suara saya dia bila dia macam echo dekat you punya tu. Ada orang kata, ada orang tak pakai earphone, dia kata. Pandai je dia. Okay. So sekarang ni, sekarang ni Aziz, so sekarang everybody masuk melalui YouFuture. Dan Aziz, you have to find my class and join my class. Kalau tidak, you takkan. Tapi macam mana pun, apa yang saya upload dalam island, dia akan appear dalam YouFuture and vice versa. So kalau kata you punya tu, saya rasa selamat je kalau you tengok dekat dalam island, cuma nanti tak ada tracking dalam YouFuture. You tak ada tracking. Kita nak tengok tracking participation kan. Dia tracking tu tak ada. Dia orang akan snap screenshot daripada situ. Okay, itu satu. Okay, yang kedua, hari ni semua orang dah upload you punya term paper. Dah ya.
Apa saya update.
Dia update. Upload saya pun tak pasti dia ada time ke tidak, tapi saya tahu hari ni. So you check balik time dia, takutkan tiba-tiba 12 hari and then you beritahu saya lah kalau benda tu tak boleh upload ke apa.
Tak, dia just tulis tarikh hari ni saja.
Good. Sebab kadang-kadang kita pun saya buat benda tu dah lama, takutkan dia kata setelah 12 hari. Okay, the other thing, okay, minggu ni by right saya nak kena cover mengenai sistem. You all dah tengok tak video saya yang saya draw pyramid tu? Saya rasa itu 2 minggu lepas, sebelum raya ke? Selepas raya ke? Dalam minggu raya macam tu. Saya upload. Ya, saya pun dah lama dah tak tengok ni kelas ni. quality. Oops, dia tak apa macam ni tak best. Okay, dalam tajuk quality standard. Okay, dalam tajuk quality standard, saya ada post satu video understanding quality systems, and then kemudian ada quality systems, which is quality system tu termasuk good manufacturing practices. Ada basic GMP, ada basic GMP PDF. Dalam PDF tu ada dua slide on GMP, and then ada HACCP, okay, and then ada halal assurance system. So if you look at dia punya Google Classroom tu, saya nak cover yang ini, yang quality standards, okay? Sebab nanti you all nak buat you punya project, which dalam project you, saya dah senaraikan apa yang perlu ada dalam you punya project, you punya HACCP project. Term paper hari ni kan due date, and then you ada HACCP project. So daripada HACCP project tu, you need to have, saya dah listkan apa yang perlu ada dalam tu, okay? For that to transpire, itu yang saya kata, you tengok saya punya understanding quality systems, and then you boleh faham bagaimana tiap-tiap satu sistem, tiap-tiap satu quality standard itu is being built by the other system. So itu pasal saya buat dalam bentuk pyramid supaya you faham yang in any quality system it must start with the SOP, and then baru dia naik GMP, GHP, and then HACCP, and ultimately your halal quality system. Okay, hari ini saya nak cover, okay, saya nak cover HACCP because you akan ada you punya presentation nanti. Okay, we have like 57, okay, which I'm not going to do like all 57, but focus slides, okay, focus slides. Okay, now saya nak present now. Oops, mana ni? Sekejap, cancel. What is my HACCP? Maaf sekejap ya. Sabar sekejap ya. Okay, I have this. Okay. Saya kena buka dulu. Oops. Hari ni minggu ni is not a good week. Okay, alright. Present now a window. Okay. Right. Okay. Nampak ke? Okay, nampak kan? Saya dah terang bagi kau dah. Nampak ya? Okay. So, okay, HACCP is centralized food service system. Saya tak, kalau you perasan, I did not go through the basic for this, but when we discuss about HACCP, I will touch about the other. Remember, okay, sekejap ya. Remember we have this, right? Dalam video, in the video that I have shared earlier, so I've explained that you need SOP in any quality systems, you need GMP and GHP, and then HACCP, and then only we discuss about halal. Okay, I will only be discussing on HACCP. We have here like 57. I'm not going to go like one by one because that's will be like very long. My class is kalau in physical class pun is about like 2.5 hours for that. So I'm just going to touch the important elements in HACCP, and then you have to, so that you can pick it up and in doing your HACCP plan project. Okay. So this is okay. When we discuss about HACCP, then I will also be touching on GMP, GHP, and SOP, because GMP and GHP and also SOP is somewhat like a prerequisite for HACCP. If you have SOP, it's easier for you to do HACCP. If you have SOP and then you incorporate GMP or GHP, then it's also easier for you to do HACCP. Okay, ISO is another system where HACCP is meant for food production. Although HACCP is now, you can see that in food service operation, in hospitals, in other restaurants, like in a centralized kitchen, we have HACCP. But ISO is meant for food business until food production, but is another quality system meant for food service, food retail until to the food production at the back of the house. Okay, and then I'll discuss about halal, because halal has somewhat different or a different perspective in identifying hazard in its quality system. Okay. Okay, HACCP. Okay, steps for HACCP system. This is what I put. I put it in writing for your project. Okay. First, I said. I detail it out for you because I'm not sure. Not all of you are familiar with HACCP. I know that some of you has been to HACCP training, so you have somewhat an idea about how HACCP works. But maybe a few of you do not have any clue about HACCP. So this is a general requirements or general things that you have to do before you can start doing your HACCP system. But in your project paper, I have detailed it out, like the plan of action. You must have this, you must have a product description, you must have your plan layout and things like that. But for this one, first, if you go into a quality system company, you might want to look at its process or its product making from A to Z. You must know about its ingredients, you must know about its station in the flow of food product, and then you must know that it stops where. I mean, you must know that what is the product be intended for, who are going to be the customer for the product and such. Okay, and this is the second one is you must identify or decide where hazards could occur in the system, and you have to put controls and how you monitor them. And of course, HACCP is all about writing it all down and keep records, because so that we can double check, cross check what has happened, if anything happened, and what is need to be done to correct the process. Okay, and then also is about monitoring, where you have to ensure that it continues to work effectively. Okay, HACCP benefits, of course, all that, especially for in order for us to produce quality food. Okay, prerequisite. Okay, prerequisites. This is the thing that I said, that if you wanted to do HACCP, you must have SOP, you must have at least GMP or GHP. But there are companies who doesn't have GMP and GHPs, but they can also apply HACCP in their system, and they pass the HACCP quality system because they have a very good SOP. And this SOP must covers about the facilities, the supplier control, the specifications, its production equipment, cleaning and sanitation, personal hygiene, and also training. Training must be embed into your system, because you might have different staff. You might have a high turnover staff. Then training is a good way to ensure that everybody understand what's going on in the company. Okay, other than that, you should have chemical control, you have receiving SOPs, you have storage SOPs. If your product is going for export and import, then it must have shipping specifications. For traceability and recall, this is where your records come into hand. It is important, because you want to trace where your ingredients comes from, who handles the ingredients, who does the cooking, who does the packaging and whatnot. And if anything were to happen and your product is not safe, then you could do a recall. You can recall your product back to your system. And of course, you must have a pest control standard, pest control specification, pest control SOPs. Okay, these are stations for SOPs. So if you have a very big company, you must have all these chemical control specifications, receiving specifications and whatnot. But if you have a very basic, you have one product only, and maybe you have 2 or 3 ingredients, then you can have a shorter list of specifications. Okay, this is where I like to highlight this, because this is where in your project paper, your project HACCP, also you must have this flow of food. Okay, I'm just stating this in example, because some places or some product, they sometimes do not have storing. They receive and they go through, they go straight to cooking. Okay, some companies, if the product is complicated, so they have receiving and they have storing. They have maybe at least 3 types of storing. They have dry, wet, and dry, wet, and wet. They have freezer, and then they have the freezer storage. So they have 3 types of storage for storing, and then they have a control where there's a weighing room. Somebody is taking care of all the procurement and how much they wanted to use. Okay, so and then you have cooking, packing. Sometimes after cooking, you have packing, cooling, storing, distributing, reheating, and serving. Okay, depending on what type of product that you suggested for your HACCP project, then this flow of food may differs. Okay, may varies. So that is up to you. You check again your flow of food stations, and then you discuss accordingly in your project. Okay, prerequisite programs for implementing HACCP must have food temperature control. Okay, if there's a storage area, then the storage area must follow the temperature specified for its intended use. If you have cooking places, then the cooking process must have temperature to eliminate hazards. Okay, if you have cleaning and sanitizing, what are the chemical facilities or chemical product that you use, who is doing the cleaning, how much of its dilution that is being used, and then you must have your employee personal hygiene. So how do you know that they are always abide to the personal hygiene standards? So you must have like who's checking who and what are the things that they are being checked upon. And also you must have a pest control, meaning that, okay, you must have a periodically pest control. So these must be present in your HACCP project if you should have. If you do not have, because food control is, pest control is very important. So you must at least have like a schedule of every month or every 3 months, there's a pest control coming into your place to do the cleaning or the control, right? Okay, so SOPs. Okay, remember when you have your flow of food station, you must have SOP for each station. So these are the things that must be included in the SOP. Okay. SOP for procurement, SOP for food production, for transportation. I wouldn't want to go into details because these are the things that if you have been to your practical training, then you know what is being required for each station. Okay, SOP for service, chemical control, pest control. Okay, HACCP principles. Okay, now I'm going into HACCP principles. In these HACCP principles, you have like 7 principles. That is the basic HACCP principles. You must have the first one, conduct hazard analysis and risk assessment. Okay, determine critical control points, establish critical limits for CCP, critical control point. Okay, establish monitoring, establish corrective actions, establish verification, and record keeping, the last one. Okay. How do you apply these HACCP principles? You apply this on your SOP. Okay, so your SOP must have this hazard analysis and risk assessment, especially for every ingredients that you use. Okay, you must determine the critical control points, meaning that if that is the station to eliminate hazards, so what are the critical control points that you must abide? Okay, and then you have to set the critical limits, and then you have monitoring procedures and corrective actions if the product is not following the critical control points or the critical limits that you have mentioned earlier. Then you must have a corrective action, whether it has to be discarded or it has to be reworked. Okay. These are all the principles. Okay, you might want to run through this. Okay, and later maybe we can. Okay, we have this. We have okay analysis. Analysis of hazard assessment. Okay, this is important because this is where you can determine that it is hazardous or not, and this hazard elements is being what do you call, being categorized into biological, chemical, or physical. Okay, so this biological, chemical, and physical. Okay, how do you refer that? Biological hazards is all the pathogenic microorganisms like bacteria, parasites, and viruses. Okay, and chemical hazards are such as naturally occurring chemicals or intentionally added chemicals. Okay, naturally occurring is a product that has allergens or mold toxins, mycotoxins, Okay, I will take this out for your discussion on your for this week discussion, meaning that you have to look for what are the naturally occurring chemicals and intentionally added chemicals, such as from packaging materials, like intentionally, like if you wash the your if you wash your if you use the soap, the dishwasher soap, and you wash your plate maybe, but you did not rinse your plate properly, then you have these chemicals on your plate. Sanitizers are you add, like you sanitize the kitchen, and the sanitizers got into your food, so that is called chemical hazards. But these are all like you are using it, but you did not use it properly, so you have this cross contamination of these intentionally added chemicals. But naturally occurring chemicals are something that it is there, it is on the food, so you must have some knowledge on the naturally occurring chemicals. Okay. Unintentional or incidental chemical additives, such as from agricultural chemicals, pesticides, fertilizers, that can be found in your food, okay, especially your raw materials. Okay, physical hazards are potential harmful matter not normally found in packet, such as metal, wood, or glass fragments. Biasa when we eat, sometimes we found getah tempe, or we found like I don't know, stone in your nasi and such. Okay, those are physical hazards. Okay, these for HACCP, the hazards are being discussed, or being the hazards are being evaluated during your procurement, during your receiving, during your purchasing process. So you wanted to choose, you wanted to have a quality product at the end of your flow of food line. You must have a quality raw materials. So when how do you determine the raw materials are of quality? You try to eliminate all the hazards at the beginning of your flow of food system. Okay, so that is the key word. For HACCP, you eliminate the hazards at the beginning of your system, and these hazards are listed from that three types of hazards. Okay, okay. Okay. Then identification of principle 2, I will do in another session, because I want you to at least until here, until principle 1, and until today, I know that you have selected what are the product that you wanted to use or wanted to produce, and then you have described what is the product. I think from the list, from the checklist that I want you to prepare your project, and now I want you to look at your raw ingredients that you have listed down from your recipe that you have identified. So you list all the raw ingredients, and you identify what are the hazard that could be found at each raw material that you have indicated. Okay, you do that first, and then um, and then if you have identified the hazard, you identify the process, the critical control points, meaning that how are you going to eliminate that hazard. Okay, okay, this is the decision tree. Try to use this decision tree to determine the process critical control points. Okay, then only we will and if you have any questions in preparing this, you can post that in your what do you call we will open this for discussion in the discussion for this week in your You Future or Island. Okay, so okay, that's it. Do you have any questions so far? This is so distracted because my mother came. Okay, so do you have any questions?
Oh, betul.
Hanis.
Oh, so kiranya yang apa kami buat untuk produk tu, kiranya doktor minta kita list down the raw ingredient and then cari yang hazard antara biological, chemical and physical tu doktor?
Ya, okay. Saya dah post dalam you punya
You future.
tak, saya post dalam Google Classroom lagi awal semester. Saya dah, sekejap saya buka balik you punya
HACCP project.
HACCP project. Lepas tu saya ada list kan. Okay, you patut ada ni, patut ada ni, patut ada ni kan. Untuk you punya HACCP project.
Company profile.
Company profile. Lagi apa lagi?
Chart, HACCP scope and plan, product description, source and source of raw material, HACCP process and project.
So at least sampai situ awak dah ada. So sekarang ni saya nak sekarang ni okay. You ada company profile, okay. Company organisation chart you dah ada kan. Company profile is just like you just make believe that this is your company. Okay, company profile, apa company profile you, company you ni adalah company yang buat apa, you know, just like a profile kan. And then company organisation chart, siapa yang akan take care of apa, okay. And then you have HACCP scope and plan. Okay, scope tu akan merangkumi hanya production of maybe curry puff sahaja ke kan, and plan dia ialah to produce that HACCP plan. Okay, HACCP plan will have, maksudnya produk you akan masuk daripada bahan mentah sampai kepada bahan produk siap. And then product description is okay, what is your product? Kadang you pakai nama kan, kadang macam-macam nama oversee produk-produk you. Tapi apa itu sebenarnya? Sebenarnya produk tu okay, this is curry puff made from puff pastry with filling of potato kata kan. Benda macam itulah. So you have to describe your product. And then source of raw materials, at least you must have your recipe to do that, and where each ingredients will be produced from, meaning that your raw ingredients akan datang daripada mana, siapa dia punya supplier. Okay, itu yang kita nak ada, that supplier. Kalau you tengok tadi mesti ada supplier audit, you ada okay, these are the list of suppliers for kentang katakan. Kemudian dan sebagainya lah. So kalau kata curry puff tu you adalah senarai,nya ada apa, ada tepung, ada I don't know, ada macam-macam kan. Okay. So, okay, you dah sampai situ, you dah buat dah at least like 60%. Okay. Okay, and then you have your HACCP process. Okay, HACCP process is you have that ini yang kita ada principles yang pertama tu. Setiap satu raw ingredients you akan you determine what are the hazard, what are the potential hazard for that raw materials, for that raw ingredients. Okay, then only you akan pergi ke principle yang kedua, dia punya critical control point. Adakah dia tu boleh eliminate, adakah that hazard can be eliminated at mana, kat bahagian mana, okay. Contohnya kentang, okay. Kentang dia ada potensi of, dia kalau kata dia ditanam dan dia terdedah kepada cahaya matahari, dia akan ada that warna hijau dekat atas permukaan kentang tu. And that is not good because itu akan menyebabkan that potential toxin. So you might want to, you bila you terima, you tahu itu adalah potential toxin, so you tak nak that kind of kentang. So bagaimana you that is potential hazard, okay? Itu dipanggil chemical toxin. So now how are you going to eliminate that? Okay. Kalau kata you boleh eliminate pada 2 tempat. Ini daripada saya punya perkiraan lah daripada you boleh eliminate pada 2 tempat. Bila produk tu datang, bahan mentah tu datang, you eliminate masa tu. You tak nak you tak nak receive. So maksudnya you akan semak, you punya receiving officer akan semak, okay, this is where you can eliminate yang potential toksin yang daripada kentang tu. Bila kentang tu datang ada hijau-hijau, you dah sample 10, sebab tu kita belajar hari tu sampling kan. Kita belajar mengenai statistical process control. Okay, kita kalau kata dalam seguni kentang, you sample 10 biji dan ada berapa persen yang ada tanda hijau tu, then you eliminate masa tu juga. Oh, the whole batch saya tak nak terima. Okay. Tapi kalau you ambil juga, okay, kalau katalah you terpaksa juga ambil, then you have to fikirkan di mana dalam proses control you tu, you boleh eliminate that hijau tu. Maybe towards masa penyediaan, masa kat bilik pemotongan katakan. Dan masa kat situ, you akan buangkan yang hijau tu. You ada orang yang akan buangkan yang potential toxin tu, you kupas dan you buangkan. So that is how you eliminate. So kalau kata you terima dekat permulaan, then where dia punya critical point ialah you punya elimination tu akan berlaku di mana. So to eliminate the hazard. Okay, so itu yang you ada that HACCP plan tu. Okay, you ada scope and HACCP plan. So itu yang saya, dan flow chart. So saya nak you awak draw flow chart tu, kalau kata ini as hazardnya, you akan eliminate di mana. Okay, can you do that dulu? Can you do that first? Then if you have any question, kita jumpa dan kita discuss about each individual group punya hazard. Faham tak maksud saya?
Faham. Boleh Doktor.
Sebab kalau saya macam, sebab you ada masing-masing ada produk masing-masing. So kalau you ada soalan, kalau dekat kelas kita boleh lukiskan dekat whiteboard, saya macam jam sikit. Okay. So kalau, dan asalnya student dia akan datang at the end of the class, tunjukkan. So bila online ni dia macam saya terfikir konon-konon nak online lepas ni, dan mak saya datang. Mak saya datang. So nanti we bring that masuk dalam mama punya kelas. Nanti masuk dalam pasal saya suka kelas saya pagi pukul 8, pukul 9. Di pukul 11 semua ada macam-macam ada. We discuss about the hazard, okay, dalam you punya you future, and then saya akan open satu lagi itu ialah soal jawab mengenai you punya sendiri project you HACCP tu. Okay? Dah pukul 12.
Yelah, betul tetamu datang tu Doktor.
Saya macam distracted dah tak boleh dah cakap dah. Okay. So nanti so we bring that. Tapi mula-mula tu memang pagi tadi pun saya macam apa ya tapi saya rasa saya kena get through yang HACCP ni dulu supaya you can move. Kalau tidak saya takut kita tak ada avenue untuk bertemu. So nanti susah juga. So saya kata baik saya bercakap ni dulu so that you start looking into your HACCP project, and then if you have any questions, kita ada platform, saya akan buat platform untuk you bertanya dan kita discuss dalam. Alright? Okay. Thank you for coming to class. Semua orang dah isi borang kehadiran?
Dah
kan? Semua orang dapat kan? Tadi saya 2 kali saya tu kan? Alright. Okay, thank you for coming to class. Nasib baiklah awak semua orang kalau 100 tu lagi lah. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. And we'll see next time insyaAllah. Nanti kalau kita rasa perlu, kita akan buat lagi satu perjumpaan. Okay, Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum.